Today Murli sir speaking இல்ல.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And so good morning and welcome all the participants to a new session. And especially first, before we start, I would like to just announce two things. Firstly, all the participants who have come in today, please use the chat box only to put in your queries. Secondly, as you have all seen that a slide was put up regarding the examination, the online examination. So regarding the online examination, all the details of the registration and how to register everything will be sent to you. And regarding that, you'll be sent a link in the chat box throughout the session. A link will be shared in the chat box throughout the session by my colleague, Mr. Manikant. So he'll be sharing a link in the chat box. You have to just click on that link. That is a contact information link. You have to go there and submit your contact information. So those who have not done that yet, please do so that it will help us to track you back and share the relevant information regarding the online examination. And third, we have also put up all the sessions that were held so far, the study materials or the PPTs of the session. We have put that in one place, and that will also be shared in the chat box, that particular Google Drive link. So all of those who want to use that link and use the PDFs for your study materials can just go to that link and you'll find all the study materials in one place. And after every day's session, if there is a PPT, that will also be updated, but the link will remain the same. So thank you, sir, and over to you, Kamlesh, sir.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to everybody. Once again back with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, which will only help us to grow and help us to make India a stronger table tennis playing nation. This wonderful initiative brought to you by Sports Authority of India and Table Tennis Federation of India with the only objective to make us better. We have had so many speakers speaking of various topics, sharing their valuable experience, knowledge, and over a number of years that they have earned, and they are giving it ready-made to all of us. It's our job to pick the things that we understand first and we feel that will help us to grow. Today again we have one more speaker, an eminent speaker, V. Muralidhar Rao, and his topic is going to be developing players at grassroots level, a very important and interesting topic. It's the first step for making champions. A small intro about Muralidhar Rao. Is Chennai based, more popularly known as the uncle of Sharat Kamal. He was assistant commissioner with Customs and Central Excise. He's been involved in coaching since last 36 years. It's long years of experience, knowledge. Since 2010, he has been regularly representing and going with the Indian teams at various international competitions, including Youth Olympics. He has trained many players, and some of the champions' well-known names are Sharat Kamal, Chetan Babur, S. Raman, Bhuvneshwari, K. Shamini, Amal Raj, Maithili, Rajat Kamal, just to name a few. It's really very nice to have you, Muralidhar Rao. You have agreed to be with us and share your knowledge and experience. We welcome you to the show, and we are looking forward to your guidance so that we can all become better and make table tennis stronger in our country. Thank you, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kamlesh ji. A very happy and wonderful morning to all of you.
Little louder.
Yeah, the today's topic is developing the game at grassroots level, which attains sharp focus in the backdrop of what our Honorable Minister has spoken a few days back, laying down the vision on the table for India, wherein he had expressed that our vision is to make 2028 as a year where India should become one in the top 5 Olympic medal winning countries. And in that relevance, he had brought out sharply that we are looking at the development of the game at grassroots level. So for that, he had also mentioned that the government of India is going to recruit many coaches and send them to send them across to the country to develop the game at grassroots level. So the importance of grassroots level is sharply brought out by his speech, and it raises the dreams for coaches like us. See, we are the ones who are going to work for realizing the dream of our goal for 2028. So the coaches, you understand that the onus is on us. So coming to the real development of it depends on largely on the coaches and the administrators. The coaches are on the technical part of it, which we are all going to do. The administrators are to come out with the schemes, plans, and then implementation and creating infrastructure facilities, all those things. So in this regard, like developing at the grassroots level, the government of India has come out with a great plan, the Kelo India, which with the objective of inculcating the sports culture at grassroots level. So having said that, now let us understand what are the our experiences. I mean, which I would like to share with you all. So it might help a little bit at least. So the next slide, Mr.
Biswajit, the slides are slightly blurred. If you can make them a little clearer.
Yeah.
Now, sir, is it okay now?
It's still blurred.
It is still blurred.
Still blurred.
But anyway, in the meanwhile, let me make another point. See, before going on to explain our experiences, every player, every stalwart of the game, the legend of the game, has started at the grassroots level. So in this, once we understand this, the stalwarts that come to my mind is one, our director here, Mr. Kamlesh Mehta, and the other stalwart on the women's side is Indupuri. They both have the distinction of winning the nationals, senior nationals, 8 times each. And if you see their raise into the fame at a short period of time, and both had similar health issues when they started playing the game, and but that never deterred them into, you know, rising from the grassroots level to the highest levels of the game, where they had come out with great international performances. And we all know that Indupuri had even defeated the world champion Park Kyung-sun of North Korea in 1985. So such heartwarming performances should be a beacon of light for the players at grassroots level, which in due course, I will be explaining how these legends' performances have given such wonderful thought process to the coaches and to the players. So here on the slide that you see, this is, I'm sharing, I'm one of the Rao brothers. My brother's name is A. Srinivas Rao, who is also Dronacharya awardee. We both started our coaching way back in 1983 in Santhom School, where the pictures on this screen, all of them more or less have been the grassroots level players at that relevant time. And it is for the coaches, I want you to understand that conducting national level coaching camps for the advanced players is one thing, and organizing coaching camps at the grassroots level is entirely a different ball game. It's because the very nature, like at the grassroots level, you will have different levels of players. Some will be ranked beginners, some will be a little, they would have played for 1 year or 2 years, and some would have started late by age also. Some would have started very late. So you have a humongous job on your hands when you have to deal with this kind of varied persons. A lot of what to say, you are planning on your part to segregate these children into groups, ideal groups. And for many of us, way back, we had only 3 tables when we started with about 40 to 45 children in that school. But of course, now slightly better infrastructure is available for beginners. So at that time, when we started coaching, like I said, Raman, Ravichandran, Chetan P. Babur, and Narul Selvi, B. Bhuneshri is a little later, not in 84. MS Maithili, then NR Indu. NR Indu also started a little late. She was younger to this lot. And Ravichandran. So all of these people were part of that group. So we had no rank players at that time in the group that we were discussing, except Chetan P. Babur and Bhuvneshwari. Then yes, we had to first find out, like, how to initiate. So that is where we had to look at the basics. Unless the basics are made strong, it is very difficult for a structured progress for the players. So, like again, I said, since we have different players, different levels of players on our hand, so we had to uh, take in more help, like, me and my brother. Of course, besides that, we had to take some more people, because managing the crowd, like organizing them into separate groups and then taking care of them, and then the limited number of tables, all these things will pose a lot of problems. So, and I have also mentioned that sometimes, the players of higher age groups will come into the system, and there may be as young as fourth standard. Chetan entered at fourth standard, and so Raman, in fact, at when he was studying 11th standard, he was still not ranked in juniors. So you can see, but his race to the becoming state champion within 2 years. By 86, he was state champion, and then Ravichandran was state number one. So Raman was state champion. So these, the sharp differences in the standards, we have to manage. So how we have managed as it goes on, I will explain to you in the next slides. Vishwajit ji, next slide, please. Yeah, I have briefly mentioned here about 6 pointers. So I will go to the first slide, and then where we give this. The first point is, a coach should have a sound knowledge of basic strokes and the ability to manage a large group of trainees. So let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah, here if you see the heading, that I am going to explain to you about what I meant: sound knowledge of basic strokes and the ability to manage large groups of trainees. See, that large groups of trainees, we have to, coach has to have the ability. Why I say so is, see, in advanced level, like, national camps and all, the players are already into the groove, and then they are very organized sector. So here it is not so, and different age groups, and different levels of play, and different levels of understanding too. So when it comes to the basic strokes, the first and foremost important thing is the stance. Actually, I see many people asking doubts on stance, and doubts on how to hold the, what is the importance of the free hand. So you can see in the picture, you can see the Sharat Kamal, who is outstanding player from the legend from India, as on date. So you can, uh, this picture can show that, see how relaxed his body is, but yet attentive. From the eyes you can see, and the free hand, it is poised by the side of his body. If you observe this, many players will have similar postures more or less. So it doesn't, we don't have to think much as to what is the where the left hand should be, or whether the body should be relaxed. It you can see that. So we have to set about correcting these basics, like starts with the stance. So let us go to the next slide. Now here you can see the service action. So the service, we need to teach our grassroots level players how to toss the ball also. Many do not understand the rules of toss, like, the palms together, fingers together, thumb apart, the palm flat, the ball should raise 6 inches above the table and from the table. All these things, the coaches, we need to teach them and then show them the correct actions. Or even we can show some pictures like this of some former great players, which the trainees can understand better, because a picture communicates in more clearly than 100 words, metaphorically saying. Yeah, please, the next slide, please. Yeah, here you can see the backhand push. The backhand push, normally it is done with a good backspin. So here actually Shamini is one of the exponents in doing excellent backhand push. She raised in her ranks through that excellent backhand with which she used to control the opponent from attacking and make them make a lot of mistakes. Of course, subsequently when she raised it to the higher ranks, etc., then she had learned attack and all. So the basic, this is backhand push, doing backspin. Many children at very young age will not understand. So we need to exhibit that, then how to pass the hand under the ball by slicing the ball underneath. Normally what they do is they do a half volley type thing, which the ball will travel forward without much spin. So this needs to be explained, and then this needs to be strengthened. This is one of the strong defense mechanism. Yeah, the next slide, please. Yeah, here you can see it's a backhand, same backhand push, but with a long pimple. Our stalwart of present days, Manika Batra, who's made ripples in international arena. So you can see her, the bat angle would communicate. It is different from a soft rubber. You have to keep the bat a little flatter. And this is like, a half volley. The push with this action produces a forward spin. That is the beauty of it. The advantage of this long pimple rubbers is a push action produces a forward spin, which in grassroots level, the children will not understand. So we need to explain to them, make them play extensively against this. For this, the coach also, at times, you need to use this rubber also to teach them. Otherwise, he needs to, the other trainers who are using these rubbers, they can make them as an example while teaching. The next slide, please. It is the forehand push, which is actually in our entire experience, I found teaching this forehand push is very difficult, because the hand, like, you can see the crook of the hand, and then uh, stretching the wrist a little backward. And then, of course, in this action, slightly the bat is angled. But then when the action is completed, it goes with a backspin in a flat way. So once I found, we have found in our experience that forehand push, once that is stabilized, all other strokes will stabilize for a grassroots level player. And the footwork also the children can see, like, from a stance where they stand in the corner of the table, when they move to receive a forehand push, that is how they take the action. So the next slide, please. See here, you can see the backhand drop. It's Mama Das, who is also another legendary player from India. So the backhand drop, the action is exhibited there. Then the next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you, Biswajit. This is Archana Kamath, who was the last year national champion. Please, Archana Kamath. So she is handling a forehand drop. These are all, very, very basic strokes. So the next slide. And free hand also, you can see where the hand is standing. The free hand is to balance the body, and it should not interfere with the movements. And as coaches, when we find that the free hand is really not moving freely and balancing the body, we need to attend to that. We need to correct. In our experience, we found many players, they keep the free hand stiff by their side, almost stretching to below table. But that should not be. Any stiffness in the free hand will constrict the whole body and impairs the stroke production. The next slide, Biswajit ji. Yeah, here now comes slightly the next level of advanced stroke. Sharath is attacking a ball which has almost come below the table level. So it is from a deep cut ball, or we call it jerk loop in Chennai, Tamil Nadu side. But yeah, that is called top spin. Like, a top spin action that can be seen very clearly here. The forehand top spin, again, when the children are coming to the next level, doing spin, top spin, it poses a lot of problems. So actually, I remember, way back when Arul Selvi was playing in Santon in '84, we used to find it extremely difficult because she was not able to understand how to do that jerk loop until for about 2 years into the game. But then one can say she is one of the finest attackers with forehand topspin in the later years. So the grooving at that stage, that it had to be, she had to be made to understand. It may take time, but it doesn't mean that they can't learn it. So the champions always have that one quality. They catch up with it, whether it is late or early, or based on their levels of understanding. Yeah, the next slide, please. The backhand topspin. Again, for a backhand topspin, the players will go slightly lower than the table surface, and then come out with a great, spin with a jerking action, which produce the amount of spin on the ball gives that name to that stroke, the backhand topspin. So again, you can see the left hand again in all these slides. The free hand of these senior players can be seen by the players. I mean, coaches. We have to show to our beginners, grassroots level players, this is how the left free hand is held. This is how the stroke playing hand is moved. So that needs to be explained. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is very advanced, the banana flick, and it is our Harmeet Desai, who is our present one of the legends India has produced. He is doing that banana flick, which is his favorite stroke. Even during the previous sessions, our Brett Clark was extensively showing this. So there might be a thought that why at grassroots level would it come into play. In our experience in the present days, the players of very low standards, even 10 years, below 10, 12 years, they see these things on video or whatever it is, they keep trying. So their imagination is already activated by watching these visuals. So if they're trying, we have to, I mean, as coaches, we need to encourage them to learn new way, but at the same time, we should also be cautious about integrating. I mean, it can't be integrated just like that in a grassroots level players game. But then the explanation or the visuals that they see, it will help them at a later stage. So exposing them to the watching this or understanding this at a very young age would be very, very helpful at a very later stage. Yes, the next. Yeah, here again, this is also a much advanced stroke. It is forehand counter drive.
So can you be a little louder?
Yeah, this is a forehand counter drive where the present day game is almost at a higher level. It goes on like this. When an attacker is attacking, gone are those days when they block with their forehand. But again, like I said, mentioned earlier, the younger lot, we find they are using this stroke extensively. They are not all that afraid to counter attack or whatever it is. This strokes, it is coming very prevalent in the younger lot. So we may have to teach this also and show them as to what is the correct action, how it is done, where to catch the ball. So by the very nature, it's a drive from the opponent. So the drive from the opponent comes with a lot of bounce based on the spin and speed based on the speed that the opponent has used. So it needs to be controlled from the top of the ball. So they need to, the racing ball needs to be pressed down for sending the ball back with a counter drive. Yeah, the next slide, please. Yeah, now you can see our another stalwart, Amal Raj. So he is doing a backhand counter topspin. So this backhand counter drive is not extensively used, but for the sake of completing the strokes that are available in the table tennis game. So we can see that, and then how even again the coaches can notice his left hand, how it is freely lying by his side, and then it is balancing his body. So yeah, the next slide. Yeah, this now the one more stroke is the tap. Tap also is, it is actually like, in our experience, we have found that these are the link strokes to the main sequences that everybody practices. Straight away, you cannot go into an attacking sequence. The attack has to begin either from the push or from a tap like this. So tap is an initiation. Even the banana flick on the backhand side, the equivalent thing is on the forehand side. So when a ball is tapped, then the attacking sequence begins. Opponent either will, based on their levels, they will attack or they will block. So the strokes, that sequences that the beginners, the grassroots level players, they practice, they can bring them into use only if they strengthen the link strokes. The link, I call it, the link is service is a link, service reception is a link, then comes this tapping. So next, the body position, again, the free hand you can see, it's for the importance of free hand is very much relevant. We have to teach it at the grassroots level itself. Otherwise, I have found many a player, even at a higher level, they swing the backhand also, the free hand also in unison with the right hand, which I feel may come in the way of the quality of the stroke production might be impaired. So we coaches, we have a responsibility to correct these things at the grassroots level itself. Yeah, the next one. This is the multi-ball. See, in the latest period, in the last 10 years or whatever it is, there is an extensive relevance for the multi-ball. But the coaches, we all have to understand the multi-ball is a tool. Multi-ball as such, simply by itself doesn't give the desired result unless the objective of using that multi-ball is decided very clearly, so that the learning can be imparted to the trainees. We can use the multi-ball to develop any one of the strokes, either individually or in a combination. So the same thing can be done even with the robo. In the robo, like you need a very advanced robo for bringing a lot of variations, but whereas what is physically given multi-ball, the coaches can give exactly the desired learning to the trainees. Particularly when we are handling a number of players, we find that multi-ball session, it saves a lot of time. In the same given period, a number of balls the trainee can attempt. So whether it is to teach them the backhand push or teach them the forehand push or teach them a counter, teach them other. So all these things can be done with the multi-ball by carefully planning. Like I said, the objective of the multi-ball needs to be decided by the coach and then communicated to the trainees. This is what we are learning. The objective of doing this is to learn this. So the next slide. Yeah, before going on to that, I'll sum up the previous slides. So those are all the basic strokes, and the combination of it only we are going to teach in the sequence practices. And after that, I mean, after the players are enabled to play the sequences coming straight from a forward spin, then the next thing is they have to learn to clear a backspin ball with a topspin, the jerk loop or loop drive, whatever you call it, on from the forehand side, from the backhand side. So it is in a structured way we have to explain these things and teach to the basic levels. The basic strokes we always in any game, in any field, we normally hear we hear people saying his basics are strong. What do they mean by that? It is nothing but these basics, unless they're taught and a strong foundation is laid at the very grassroots level, their progress will be stunted at a later stage. So in our experience, we have found many a talent. So they come to a stagnating point because the problem arises with their integrating these strokes into their strategy, integrating their strokes into their tactics, or they may have an impaired. Say, for example, a topspin is attacked with a weak opening. What happens is the advantage gets passed on to the opponent with a strong backhand or forehand block or a counter attack. They will come back onto the player, and then it might create problems only for your attempt to open it. So the basics have to be paid a lot of attention, and the foundation. See, it is at the grassroots level. The foundation has to be very, very, very strong. If the foundation is not strong, it is anybody's uh, guess that the player cannot go far. So now coming to the present, in that the second point is the skill in drawing attention of the trainees with good communication ability and imparting knowledge.
Biswajit, we can go to the first slide, second slide.
Yeah, this is second slide only. I just gave this thing about the previous. This is very important. At very young, when you are handling very young trainees, at the grassroots level, we have to, as a coach, we have to draw their attention first. If you don't draw their attention, what happens is the group management will become extremely difficult. And particularly, just imagine they are handling some 4 years old or 5 years old, and in the same group, the slightly older players also may be there, or slightly higher standard players may be there. So what happens is it creates a problem. The drawing attention. Yeah, how do we do it? That is the question. See, the coach has to have an excellent communication ability. Now, all of us may not have the communication ability. I'm not saying we had excellent communication ability when we began with the grassroots, but it is a learning process for the coach also. by when we are trying to communicate, when we are trying to impart the knowledge. Initially, you may have a little difficulty, but then it, everything comes with practice. So the drawing attention. Now, once we develop a good communication ability, you need to give a lot of examples to the trainees, and particularly in younger
Your
age
voice
category.
is not coming,
Yeah.
Muralidhar.
In
Muralidhar, your voice is fading away.
Now, shall I?
Muralidhar, your voice is fading away, so you will
Is
have to
that
come back. Yeah,
no?
last
Okay.
30 seconds we could not hear you.
30 seconds. Okay. I'll come back. I have said that the ability to communicate is of utmost importance. Then the communication begins only after you draw the attention of the trainee. If you don't draw their attention, then whatever you communicate, the knowledge you cannot impart to them in a proper way. So to establish communication and to draw their attention, the coach needs to uh, devise his own methods. I'm talking about grassroots levels. At higher levels, it is easy. It is like in the other program, Ravicharan has clearly explained in the camp how camps are handled, where the players are all called to attention, and then it is not done that way in grassroots level. It is at the grassroots level, you need to find out a common topic where it draws the attention of even the youngest person, and then the oldest in the category. So this is where coach has to develop the ability to communicate some anecdotes or some good small stories, which all of them would have been aware, but emphasizing on the moral. Say like that, all of you would have heard a lot of moral stories which are relevant to our sport. So we can do that. The hare and tortoise. Say, for example, I used to tell that in an extensive way, where slow and steady wins the race. And there will be there's some players will be trying to play in a very bombastic way, and then they fritter away the points. But whereas some people will start very slow, but they may think that other player is playing very fast, but it doesn't matter. So communicating, the communication ability part, the drawing of the attention, I used to use the skill of communicating appropriately at that time, or sometimes give examples of the former players, how they have played in their heydays, or talking about these legends. It will always draw the attention of any trainee. So we may have to find appropriate situation and then communicate that. So the next one, please. Next. And in the same thing, okay. In the previous thing, you can see we were doing the same thing. In one of the slide, the left side of this thing, picture communicates. It's actually, I was communicating a story to them, nothing much. And the slide on the right side, you can see the little seriousness by my movement of the hands. So I must have been communicating something very important, where how the players have to pay attention or develop their skills of. I'll come to that other part where the mental strength. We need to talk a lot. Mental strengths there are no set exercises. So that is where even that situation comes. I'll explain that thing. Please go to the next slide, please. The ability to motivate trainees to learn and have keen observation skills to spot the talent in the player pool. This is also slightly relevant. To motivate them, we need to talk extensively relating to their ability to understand. Like again, I said, like telling stories also, telling some movies where the hero would have wanted to serve the society or serve the nation, and then they come out with feats which are extraordinary. So this kind of stories would always catch their attention. They would also want to be somebody like that in the field of sport. They want to achieve that kind of achievements, and then bring up the get the name for their family, get the name for their school, get the name for their district, state. So it is endless. So the motivational sessions are very, very important at a very younger grassroots level. And the coaches also should have a very keen observation of the players that we are dealing with. This is the most important. And so, how do we find out a player can make the grade or whether he has the talent in that? There is no one set characteristic. We'll always, see when you see somebody, a player is very athletic, very, like when they're moving around, they assert themselves. The leadership qualities they will exhibit. Sometimes when anything, when a coach says something has to be done, they'll come forward. They'll say, "I'll do that, sir." So there are many ways, but over a period of time, you will gain experience. See, it is not that today you start observing, tomorrow you will learn it. It comes over a period of time, but that observation skills on the part of the coach is very important. Taking it to see, I have shown a few pictures here. These are all the young children whom we have started at a very young age. The first slide shows that he is just 4 years old. He started at the age of 3. He was trying to play. So how did we find out talent in that boy was when he was young, like I said, he was very athletic. He will run under the table, pick up all the balls. When we were giving multi-ball, he will assist us. But initially, he was refusing to come inside the hall itself because he was not able to bear with the sweat. But then, yeah, we need to be very patient with these young children, particularly when we are handling them. They will be very sensitive also. Any raising our voice, chiding them, they can't take it just like that. So keeping that in view, that's why I said handling the trainees at a very young ages and younger groups, it presents a huge task on the coach's hands. Yeah, the next slide. Yeah, here a focus in increasing the fitness levels, both physical, mental, and develop a training plan by dividing players into groups as they learn the skills. So here, the fitness program. We can't give a fitness program like how you give to a national player in a national camp. That is that kind of a load or orchestrated thing. They won't. So, in order to create interest in that level age groups, we have to devise some fun games where that involves also physical fitness. So here, of course, a regular physical fitness session is also shown. On the right side, you will see that the players are playing dodgeball. In a group, the people stand and then they will try to hit the ball, the person who is standing in the middle. So that gives a lot of reflexes for the person who is standing in the middle. Then similarly, here on the left side, you can see one slide where a person is crawling under these things. To see it looks easy, but it is very tough. In young ages, they will be able to do it very easily. It forms part of their fitness. So to create interest in doing fitness, we can devise a number of games where they catch up with the movements that we desire. So we can, and then comes the mental part of it, the mental fitness. That is very important. Please understand, table tennis game is more of a mental game, according to me. I have understood, and we use the physicality only with the ability to defeat. Come out with much mental skills that. In our experience, so many players like Chetan, even Satya now. But then I'm not saying the mental alone. See, by doing good physical fitness, the trainees also become mentally strong. But besides that, the mental skills are, say for example, tenacity, the focus, positive attitude, killer instinct, alertness, then understanding the body language, emotional balance. Emotional balance is like when they're leading a game, they go through an emotional. They think the game is they have already won the game, and then they start relaxing. Or when they're down, the younger players in the grassroots level, they think that they have lost the game, so they'll stop fighting. So these emotional disturbances are common to both smaller players, grassroots level players, and then higher standard players also. These abilities, unless they're paid attention to at a grassroots level, they won't become very, very strong at a later stage in the game. That's why I have mentioned earlier that many a player, they meet a stagnating point, and then beyond that they won't go. They may give up the game. We have lost a lot of talent uh, in midway. So we have found that it is due to this these aspects, the mental aspects have not been paid much attention. We have to pay that attention at a very young age. See, how do we teach tenacity? How do we teach focus? How do we teach them a positive attitude? How do we encourage their killer instinct? If it is not there, how do we bring it inside? How do we, the alertness? See, all these things, please do understand, we need to intervene at that stage if we think the player is not developing these skills, like positive attitude. We see many players, by seeing the senior players uh, expressing emotions of despair, or when they're leading, they show all that exuberance, and then they lose out the relevant thing at that point of time. But the small children, the grassroots level players, they pick up all these things from the seniors. So we need to explain to them. We need to bring that. See, all these mental skills, the mental strengthening skills, like they need to be. They need to understand even the body language. The body, see, that's a very, very vital part at an advanced level, isn't it? Our senior players, they're masters of the art. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come to that stage. And our own director Kamlesh Mehta was supposed to be in his days. He was a master of that art. Yeah. So even though he never had very formal training and excellent facilities and all, even Indupuri madam, these are all, they are experts of it. That they might have developed it. It's not that they also would have recognized that I have all this. No, these skills, they're developed in a player on a day-to-day basis, in every practice session, in every match situation, whether it is a practice match or a serious match. So it is the responsibility of the coaches to make these young children follow that. So we need to create a system where all the children, once they come into the stream of coaching, they have to fall in line. So it is easier said than done to create a system, strong system. But then, yes, the coaches have to play that role and focus a lot. And one very single most characteristic that is important is the players' reflexes. How their mental reflexes are sharpened. I have done some research here, there, and then solving puzzles, thinking, doing some reasoning tests, or logic. Attending to all those things, they give exercise to the brain. That is one part of it. But then, now say, let us think that we have a player who's at the beginning levels, he may have a lot of talent, but he may not show this kind of aptitude. But
मुरलीधर राव, आपकी आवाज थोड़ी जोर से चाहिए.
अच्छा, yeah. So we have to teach them on a day-to-day practice. They should develop all these things. That alertness will give. Being alert gives the player. His eyes will pick up that signal. It sends a signal to the brain. The brain decides on the reflex that is needed for the situation, and then the body actually moves. The physical reflexes, they follow the mental reflexes. So it is very, very important. But anyway, it's a deep subject. I've just given you some examples, and let us go to the next slide. Yeah, here ability to, it's not the organizing competitions within the group is also very, very, very important. This is where, in the grassroots level, when we organize events for them and then reward them with a medal. See, every player here, they're having a medal in their neck. So that reward will make them, develop their dreams. Their interest in the game increases. The parents also encourage those children. The schools also will encourage. So organize a lot of competitions within them. Find some reason or the other, and then give them a medal. Say, even if not only the winners, for showing good qualities of discipline, good fighting spirit, and tenacity, or even supporting other members when they are fighting. We can find some reasons and then give them. So this will, the competition at that level, we can also observe how these players are reacting under pressure. So we can assess their potential at that level. Yeah, the next slide, please. Yeah, the last point, but not the least, it's a good rapport with the parents and administrators. Coaches have to develop excellent rapport. Rapport is the ability to enter someone else's world, to make him feel that you understand him, that you have a strong common bond. Yeah, here the player is your strong common bond. You are, the parents also are the stakeholders. So even the administrators also are stakeholders. So developing a good rapport with the parent is very, very necessary. So each one, you will have your own way of reaching that. Then keep briefing the players about the ward's progress, and then make the parent also a partner in their progress. And then the administration, yes, the coaches have to play a role along with the administrators, in tandem with them. The administrators are going to make the policy, are going to create infrastructure, going to, they develop the large base of players whom the coaches have to assist the administrators in molding them into players. The next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. The way forward, I've made a small video. It plays for about 4 minutes. Please play that.
My name is Muralidhara Rao. I am a national table tennis coach. I have been representing India as coach right from 2010 to till date. And me and my brother, we are known as Rao brothers in the field of coaching. We have been the oldest coaches in India for last, right from 1983 onwards. We have been training. It's about 36. This is 36th year, and we have produced a lot of international players, Arjuna awardees, Olympians. And our latest Olympian is Sharat Kamal, who is my brother's son. He is also Padma Shri awardee, first Padma Shri awardee in table tennis. So with our vast experience over a period of years, we had thought out a plan why we can't start the children at a very young age, training them. Like, if you see the advanced countries like China or Germany or Europe, where they are able to produce international champions, we understood that they start at a very young age in a scientific way. But actually during our period in the last so many decades, we haven't come across where the trainees, children take up the table tennis before 6th year or something like that. Then we came out with an innovative idea in 2012. We started training 3 years olds. We pick up from play school. So we started with about 40 children. In the last 6 years, 7 years, from 2012, there has been an excellent progress. Initially, when we started, it was actually a Herculean task. We ourselves were doubting whether that could take off. Handling that kind of a children, it's very tricky. Then we had one wonderful opportunity where one of our former trainees, table tennis player Meenakshi Ganeshan, she has been working with a play school. So she was the one who gave that idea, sir. I can handle these children. You are an expert in table tennis. I can assist you in this. So why don't we start? So with that idea, we started under the supervision of Meenakshi Ganeshan to manage this age category kids. Handling them at that very young age, it's very tough. Teaching them, let alone, that is next part of it. So that handling part of it was taken care by Meenakshi Ganesh. And since she also is a table tennis player, and we could very quickly, she could adapt her into the role of our assistant coach. So the children who have started like that way back, now we are proud to say that we have produced quite a few state players, district players, and now one of the girls, she is India number 4 this year. She is state champion in under 10, under 12, and now in India she is India number 4. She has also entered one finals in national ranking tournament in South Zone this year. So we have made excellent progress because she is part of this coaching scheme. She came here when she was in 2nd standard. There is another boy who is this year by name Vishnu. He started when he was in a play school. After 6 years, of 2013 he joined. After 6 years of training this year, he under 10 category, he won 9 tournaments in a row and he is a state champion. So it's an excellent progress. We could see the benefits of the foundation, laying foundation at a very young age. So of course, not everybody can do that, but then when we give that kind of a foundation at a very young age, we see the results. This winning 9 tournaments, and then this girl, she is still only under 10. She has got one more year in under 12 category. So we are hoping this kind of children we can train them for 2028 Olympics. So with that idea, we have produced in our career so many national players, so many national champions, right from under 12 to senior. My brother's son is 9 times national champion. We started with him when he was 5 years old, 4 years old. So with that confidence and experience with us, we had started this, and thank you, Vishwajit. So I have just shown you the future plans of ours which are underway, and let us go on to the role of administrators. It is I would quickly go through this. I won't elaborate much on this. So let us go to the slide.
आपकी आवाज थोड़ी ज़्यादा.
Yeah. Okay. So in order to create a large pool of players, schools and clubs should be approached. A large pool of players are available in schools. It is from our own experience. Way back in 1990, we organized the tournaments for non-ranked players where we planned for about 200 entries. But we approached personally to all schools. I met the principals personally. I impressed upon them why they should give entries for these tournaments to give the strengthen the second-time players. But to our surprise, we got about 550 entries, which we planned only for 1.5 days, and we had to conduct the tournament, which we planned for 6 tables. Ultimately, we had to conduct in 17 tables in 3 different venues. And not stopping with that experience, we had gone on to produce. The next year, we got 750. The next year, we got 900. And finally, we reached a whopping number of 1,400 players, where the organizers, we were not able to enter. But all this, we have approached schools personally. This is what the administrators have to focus on. There are large number of players in all the schools. They are available by the dozens. So there are so many schools. Administrators need to come out with a plan and also help developing infrastructure in the schools itself and assist them by engaging a good coach. And then the children who are available in the schools and the school administrators also should be informed about competitions and bring to their knowledge about this governmental incentives for the young, talented and achieving players. There are so many government schemes. The latest is Khelo India, which you all know. But we need, the next point is publicize about the sports quota for table tennis players in various higher education institutions and jobs. All these things, the administrators need to market. The marketing, even the charity needs to be marketed. That's what one of the famous quotations say. So we need to market our sport. Next slide, please. Yeah, a number of competitions which I have already explained to be organized at non-ranked level, so that the system in second-time players will sustain the interest, and then schools also will encourage them if more players are winning medals from their school. And chalk out a program for a short coaching camps for 5 days or 2 hours a day in schools with the school. This is just to initiate them into
the talent available should be first initiated into this program, and then slowly we have to draw them out of the schools where we find talent. And Brett Clark also has mentioned the other day that they won't come to us. We have to go to them. We have to go to some field area where we can find the talent. So this is what we have to do. I mean, the administrators have to do. And then the next thing is again giving them information about equipment. Many people do not know what equipment to buy, where to buy, and where are the competitions held, and the contract numbers, etc. These things should be given wide publicity in school level. See, simply, I mean, we announce in the papers, but not many will come to know about it. We have to take it upon ourselves, the administrators, that we should market these things, keep these things in mind. The next slide. Yeah, the coaches should also be encouraged to actively participate in the development of the game and developing broad. Like I already mentioned, that the administrators should be supported by the coaches with their participation in developing the game and developing a broad base, bringing out all these players into the mainstream. Coaches only can do. So kindly, the administrators have to take note of it. A panel of coaches and a senior player volunteers may be drawn for assisting short camps, the clinics in the school where large number of players are available. Earlier point also, I said a 5 days camp with 2 hours. So this can be done by the coaches, and then the senior players also. It's like donation of their time instead of money. They will do it. We have to chalk out a plan for that. Then organize clinics, seminars for coaches to upgrade their knowledge, exchange ideas, understand the solution for peculiar difficulties they face in training. This is what exactly we are doing. Our honorable minister and then our Sports Authority of India, they have sharply realized the usefulness of this, and then we are in this process. So with that, I think I conclude. I think we are ready for. Yeah, here they say ultimately everything boils down to hard work. The Albert Einstein has said about his success, my genius is only 1% and 90% is hard work. Yeah. So if a great scientist that lived on this planet had said that, you and I, yes, we need to simply follow. Let's all do hard work. It is hard work for the coaches. We need to inculcate that spirit of hard work into the trainees we train. Then the last slide. Thank you. Jai Hind. I think we can go ahead with the question and answer session if any.
Thank you, Muralidhar Rao. That was a very nice, you have touched very nicely and give very, very important, valuable points for the coaches to think about, and also have given examples in your video that what experiment that you started in 2012, what result has paid. I'm sure it's going to help the coaches, in fact, motivate and give them confidence that yes, this can work. Well, coaches, not going much into, because his language was very clear. Just few points I would like to see. Clear has to be for.
Unless your voice is cracking.
Yeah, I was not able to hear.
Can you just try and rejoin it once again, please? I think we lost connection with you. I think he'll be joining again very soon. Meanwhile, I would just like to all the
Can you hear me now?
Biswajit?
Yes, sir.
In case if you are short on time for question and answers, maybe you can give my contact details. And
no, we have time. We have time. Our compressor is back. We can take the question now.
No, we have time. We have time. Yeah. Is it okay? My voice is okay?
Yeah. I'm able to hear.
Hello, Biswajit,
yes,
can you hear me?
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Sorry for this disturbance. Well, what he said that many times we hear that कि जब वो प्लेयर अच्छा हो जाता है तभी हम उसके मेंटल ट्रेनिंग करेंगे, फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग का इम्पोर्टेंस देंगे या तो टेक्निक का वेटेज देंगे, लेकिन उनका ये कहना बहुत सही था कि फिजिकल फिटनेस हो या मेंटल ट्रेनिंग हो, ये सारी चीज वो आपको बचपन से ही उसको सिखानी, बिकॉज वो बचपन से सीखेगा तो जब बड़ा होगा तो जल्दी आगे बढ़ सकता है। हाँ, लेकिन बहुत बहुत हार्डवर्क करनी है, आपको प्रोएक्टिव रहना है, आपको खुद को वेरियस इंसेंटिव्स देने हैं, इनोवेशन लाना है, क्रिएटिविटी लानी है, इंटरेस्टिंग बनाना है। जो एज पे आप बच्चे को जब शुरुआत करते हैं तो आपको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बनाना है, इसके लिए आपको अलग अलग तरीका करना पड़ेगा, अलग अलग। इवन फिजिकल फिटनेस का सिर्फ एक्सरसाइज कराना काफी टाइम के बाद बोरिंग हो जाता है, तो गेम्स इंक्लूड कीजिए, मतलब वेराइटी लाना है, एक शॉर्ट में ये कह सकते हैं। और उसे बहुत अच्छा कहा है कि पेरेंट्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। ये हम सब भी स्पीकर्स ने ये कहा है कि फैमिली एक बहुत बड़ी इंस्टीट्यूशन है, और फैमिली में उनके पेरेंट्स की वजह से ही बच्चे आगे जाते हैं। तो पेरेंट्स के साथ भी आपका जो ट्रीटमेंट, आपका कम्युनिकेशन, आपका कनेक्ट जो होता है वो बहुत जरूरी है। दूसरा है कि एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन, वहाँ पे टैलेंट है, वहाँ पे बच्चे हैं, तो आपको एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन को भी इतना ही इम्पोर्टेंस देना है, क्योंकि अगर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा तो किसी भी प्लेयर के लिए अपनी गेम को फॉलो करना बहुत मुश्किल है। लेकिन उनका भी इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है, उनके साथ भी अच्छा कम्युनिकेशन रिलेशनशिप बनाए रखे। और लास्टली उन्होंने ये भी कहा है कि अगर गेम को एक दूसरे लेवल पे लाना है तो उतनी ही इम्पोर्टेंट जितने कोचेज है, फैमिली है, एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन है, वैसे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स भी है। एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स को भी आपको उतना ही रिस्पेक्ट देना है, उनके साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन करना है, उनका सपोर्ट करना है, क्योंकि जो चीज एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स कर सकते वो आप नहीं कर सकते, और जो आप कर सकते शायद एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स नहीं कर सकते। अब एक दूसरे को रिस्पेक्ट करके आगे बढ़ना है ताकि गेम को आगे ले जा सके। और now we'll go to the question answers, where there are quite a few questions. I'll just stick one by one. Can you explain the kind of equipment for beginners? That is one. And there are many people say that they start off with ordinary bats, and some people have the view that they should start off with the best bat. Your views on that?
Yeah, no, the ordinary bats.
Your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Your voice
Yeah.
is breaking.
The ordinary bats, very quickly we need to move away from that, because we need to teach them to spin, etc. But I find these Chinese rubbers are slightly hard, but yet they are fast, and they also produce good cut. And Chinese rubbers also come cheap, like for example that 729 rubber, DHS rubber. There are quite a few Chinese rubbers. So those rubbers can be used, and based on their progress, when they are coming into advanced levels, they need to switch over to really good rubbers. And there are a number of rubbers which are, there are a lot of companies, more or less they all come with more or less the same variety, but at a very advanced level only we need to really bother whether it is spin oriented or speed oriented or whatever it is. So the players will choose according to their. At beginners level, at grassroots level, we don't need to bother so much about it. A Chinese rubber with one good rubber on the forehand side will help.
Okay. How to approach the first competition for a player who's new, and what are the things the coach should take care before they make him play in an open tournament?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, when to expose the player for a competition, there are different views on that also. See, if a child is too young and then they are exposed to competition, they may break down also. They may not be able to take a defeat. They start crying. But then it depends on individual to individual. But the coach's role is very, very important when they are exposing the children to competition. I would suggest that they should be exposed to competition. But before that, I should know in the club level, we need to organize a lot of competitions, notice their emotional disturbances, and then work on them, and rope in the parents' assistance also. So it's a very subjective question. There is no yardstick, but it is the coaches. Yes, we need to observe whether they are able to take that emotional load.
You mentioned about mental skills developing like positivity,
Yes,
killer
yes,
instinct, emotional balance, focus, tenacity, alertness, body language, excel.
yes.
So, what would you suggest to the coaches that they can probably try out? What are things that you have tried out to maybe improve those?
Yes, Kamlesh, it's a very, very wonderful question. I'm telling you, like, for example, even the advanced players, they're saying that I do meditation, I do that. See, it is actually your practice session of 2 hours is a meditation session. Why do we think that we have to, the time management sharply calls for that. Similarly, for these beginners, youngsters, all these characteristics, it is the coach who needs to inculcate. We have to, we'll be watching them, no? Say, supposing somebody, when they're down, they throw up the points. They don't, fight it out. We need to talk to them. We need to bring it into their mind. And then, like others, alertness. They are not alert. They watch here, there. The focus is not there. And a positive attitude. All these mental skills, they need to be explained, ensure that we bring in, we create a system, ensure that the players, when they come into system, they start practicing all those things on a day-to-day basis. There is no separate exercise or separate this thing. Of course, at advanced level, the psychologists, etc., they come. But even the child psychologists, we can see that is what exactly is UTT trying to do now. I'm really thankful to UTT when they came forward to offer this support to the academies on a trial basis. You had started doing it for 4 academies. UTT is sponsoring. This is precisely for this, to have a dietitian, to have a psychologist, to have an exclusive fitness trainer. See, these things earlier we were only doing, the coach only was doing the mentorship, and the coach only doing physical fitness. So now this is what the scientific method, which I was talking about, is done in Chinese of advanced countries. So these need to be brought in at a very young age. And yes, we have to ensure that they practice all these things, these mental skills, side by side when they are playing the strokes or whatever it is. They can be developed. These are not, let us not discount that so that fellow is gifted, so he knows. No, the talent is not, it comes, that can be developed by hard work, hard work, hard work.
Very nicely said. Yes, champions are not born; champions are made.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
even if you are talented, it will help you to go to certain level. But after a certain level, only talent cannot take you. It hard work has to be there, and intelligent hard work I would recommend.
Yes.
And you said about this experiment that you started with 2012, and you had done research about China and Germany.
Yes.
And what other findings of the research? I mean, there must be many doubts in your mind that would have come when you approach the schools. Many schools would have also rejected you, or may have said yes, yes, but may not have done the way you.
Exactly. Yes.
So
Yes.
can you tell a little bit on that experience?
Yeah, actually, we were doing in Padma Seshadri school where Chetan has come from. But they used to let the trainees come into the stream only after fifth standard, something like that. They were very, cautious about, exposing that kind of, and the responsibility is also on the coaches, I mean, the school authorities to take care of their after school hours being there for such a long time. So there was a resistance. But then, yes, as we have to talk to them, what I have said here, that unless we start at this very young age, the Olympic dreams will remain, could remain as an Olympic dream. But in that direction, it is the onus is on all of us, administrators and the coaches. We need to take this message to the schools. We need to give enough incentives for them to send in their children. Talk to the parents. Even the parent will not be convinced that at this young age, he can't even reach the table's height. So, but we have already started with that players, and then it is a tough task. But once we started doing it, it was a pleasurable task, and the sense of satisfaction that we are preparing these youngsters for higher challenges at a very young age in very scientific way gives happiness. We are not yet successful. We just began. We are the scientific methods. It just began thanks to UTT for lending support. I'm sure there could be other sponsors also for other coaches. Yeah.
Yes, that's a very valid point that you need to try out new things, and they have had the courage to start off with a new experiment, starting with 3-year-old. Yes, we have heard a lot that Steffi Graf, also one of the legendary tennis players, she had started playing at the age of 3. So that is a good point that is been made, that to all the coaches, yes, if you want to produce champions at Olympic level, you have to start early, and as early as 3, which we few years back definitely believed was not the right thing. We always used to say anywhere between 6 to 8, but yes, now it's all changing. Science is changing, technology is changing. Of course, our mental attitude has to also change, and outlook also. And so that's very valid point, and well taken. All the coaches, I'm sure you would have got little very good thought for your mind, because all coaches present out here would be definitely dealing with players at the beginner level. And so many inputs that given by you, Muralidhar Rao, definitely it has enlightened and enhanced our knowledge through your experience. Thank you very much for giving this valuable time and knowledge to us. With these few words, we will make the usual announcements. First, Biswajit, can we have the slide for the sports science class in the evening? That's a sports science class today, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the webinar ID is already there. 854-8627-7967. Please do join in. I'm sure it will help you. Next slide for our tomorrow's session. So tomorrow again, we'll be meeting at the same time, same Zoom ID. And the speaker is Mr. Virendra Gulati, former chief coach, NIS, and also international coach. And he'll be talking on elements of tactics, very important and very useful topic. So please join us well in time for tomorrow. And last, about the examination slide. Can we have it a little clearer? Yeah, that's it. Once again, for all the participants, there's going to be a test conducted by National Test Agency, and e-certificates will be given. For Sai coaches present, it is mandatory. For other coaches, it is suggested that you do take up. It will definitely enhance your knowledge. And the details are there on the screen. You may note down. Of course, the link, etc., will also be put up. And lastly, Viswajit, there are some requests, and Muralidhar Rao, there has been request for some people for your email ID. Is it okay if we share your email ID? Or maybe you can put up on the chat. You can type it in the chat if you can.
Yeah, I'll do that right away.
Then please do so, because there are some people who would want to directly get in touch with you. And if it's not problem for you, you can share it.
I'm doing it.
And we wish to once again thank Sports Authority of India and Table Tennis Federation of India and our evaluator Manjushri Dayanand, and all the technical staff which is making this possible for all of us in such difficult time to discuss such valuable topics to enhance our knowledge. Thank you very much, and have a good day, and see you tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you, Kamlesh. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you, Biswajit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So please give the instruction for Sai coaches, and others can leave the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you, Muralidhar sir, for this wonderful session. And I would also like to thank Manjushri ma'am, who is our evaluator. So thank you all the participants also for joining in today. See you again tomorrow, same time. And only the Sai coaches are requested to stay back for a couple of minutes more. And as said, the links have been provided throughout the session in the chat box. If you have not, please again go back to the chat and just register the links. You can just click on the link